Welcome to the Brandon Beeyard Show. New year, new you edition. It's 2026. I don't know what that means. I'm just here in the first week of the year. How was your Christmas break? How was your New Year's? Was it good? Did you have a good time? Did you eat too much? Did you drink too much? I figured out that, of course, I ate too much and drank uh more than I wanted to, but not too bad. I did discover that I think I between Christmas of 2024 and Christmas of 2025 I developed an eggnog intolerance. I can't drink eggnog anymore. I guess it like hurts my stomach now, which is really disappointing because I look forward to eggnog, even though it's disgusting on its own. You put a little whiskey in there, it's pretty good. And now I can't drink it. I think I'm just going to power through it next year. Maybe I'll take some kind of, you can take pills for that, right? So you can enjoy delicious eggnog. I went to a bar and ordered an eggnog. And I was like, oh, this is a lovely eggnog. Even though I asked the waitress, I was like, is there alcohol in this? Because I can't even taste it. And she's like, yeah, there's alcohol in it. I get the check. The eggnog was $25 freaking dollars. $25 for eggnog. I was incensed. I'm not kidding you. That happened on December 16th. And I couldn't let it go until New Year's Eve. I kept thinking about the $25 eggnog. And I'm just like, God damn it. That is the last thing I needed when I'm in a financial pinch. So anyway, that was my Christmas. So yeah, as you can see, we are here on video today. Yeah. I don't like doing video, but I have to do video because that's just the reality of the world in 2026. If I had been doing a podcast back in 2012, would have been just audio. But no, here we are. It's got to be video. It's just, if you're not watching on YouTube, God bless you. If you're watching on YouTube, it's just this whole situation. I see it and I'm like, oh God, I'm 42 years old. Like, what am I? Oh, this face has aged. I've got wrinkles. I swear my nose has gotten bigger. It's just things that it's just an extra layer of shit that I don't want to deal with. But it's got to be done. It's got to be done. It's a show, and you got to be on YouTube. So there you go. But this is my show, and I'm done explaining what this show is about at the very top of the show. It's just me. It's just honest. It's honesty coming from a jackass who is kind of getting going on his dream, getting going on his career, his calling in life later than he would have liked, and all the resistance that comes with it. That's already too much of a description. So I shouldn't even go there with it. But that's kind of it. You're getting my worldview. You're getting my take on everything. So I wanted to talk about this today. So 2026, beginning of a new year. How is this year not going to be like last year? And I'm just thinking out loud right now. I'm not, this isn't rehearsed. That's a new thing for this show. Not rehearsed. But how is this year not going to be like last year? We're figuring it out. We're going to figure this out together. I have a few thoughts, but one thing that I noticed that I did at the end of 24, the beginning of 2025, the beginning of last year, I didn't really do like a goal setting for the year. I had done that the year before, didn't really work very well. So I said, fuck it. Didn't do it. 2024 just kind of drifted into 2025 for me. And maybe that was right for me at the time. But this year, I felt like I really I wanted to tackle this year with a new energy. And so, over the break, I just kind of looked back on the year, what happened, what didn't. I shared some of that with you in the last episode. My big success was skydiving. I have my coach rating. I have over 200 jumps. I have a C license. That was like my first big group of goals that I had when I started skydiving, and it happened faster than I thought. So that was a big win. Business wise, not so much. Show wise, not so much. I am the New Orleans Saints. There was a lot of sputtering, a lot of nothing, a lot of going sideways, trading sideways at the beginning of the year. And then we ended the year with a lot more momentum. And so going into 2026 strong, I hope. But one thing that really allowed me, I think, to get a little more perspective, like what needs to happen in 2026, what didn't happen in 2025, was me taking a break. I remember at some point right before Christmas, I just said, this is it. I'm done. Hard break. Whatever did not happen this year, it's done. It's over. We're starting over a clean slate next year. And I did that. Went home, went to the Florida Panhandle over Christmas. Gotta love a 78-degree Christmas in the Panhandle. And did that, really chilled the F out, came back strong. And that made me realize that, one thing you want to do if you want to start a new chapter, you have to have a break. You have to have a break, and you have to get away for a little while. Just even if it's going back home, whatever. If you can go on a bigger trip somewhere farther away, great, good for you. But that helped me to reset, get perspective, and I didn't force any kind of reflection or any kind of perspective. I was just like taking a break, and reflection, perspective just started coming in little bits and pieces. And I remember back in late 2019, I went on a trip to Europe, 5 or 6 weeks. Went all over Europe. The last stop was Iceland. It was late September 2019. And I was hiking through Iceland by myself for like 4 days. And it was amazing. I just had ultimate freedom, ultimate just do whatever the hell I wanted. Went hiking on a glacier, went, riding horses, all kinds of stuff. And I just remember thinking, like, having such clarity of like just that distance and the time away. I was like, oh, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to crush 2020 and maybe the rest of 2019. And I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this year what I haven't made the prior few years. It's going to be great. And then 2020. So that happened. But that was really good. And I guess the question I kind of have is, I don't want to blame myself too much because, 2020 happened and I didn't obviously hit a lot of the goals I wanted for that year. I tried, but the world went crazy. I couldn't believe how crazy the world went. I lost faith in a lot of things, a lot of people. But that's all over. We've all had to deal with that in our own way. And I guess the question is, how do you, once you have the perspective? So step one, get perspective. Take a break, take some time away, get the perspective. Once you have that, how do you follow through? It's easy to be on a vacation and be like, oh, yeah, these are the parts of my life that sucks. This is what needs to be fixed. I just feel like I'm going to do it. I'm so carefree right now. I'm going to go back and kick it. And then you get back and then you're right back in the same people, the same situations and same surroundings that kind of just pull you back into that day-to-day grind, and you kind of lose that perspective. How do you keep it? Maybe we can figure that out. I know that the thing that you absolutely need is that break and perspective. You can't just be like, and I did this last year. At some point in April, I was like, okay, this is it. This is the end of an era. We're starting over, starting tomorrow. I did like a journal entry. I thought about the things that were in what I had done the past few years that I didn't want to do anymore and what I wanted to do instead. And I did it. Didn't really work. I made some progress on that later in the year, but it didn't really work as well as I had hoped. And I think it's because it's hard to just be at home and be in your day to day and be like, this is the break. This is it. No more. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's so much easier when you just stop. You go away for a while and then you get the insight and perspective, and then you come back, you know? And then during that time that you're away, okay, maybe this is it. During that time that you're away, you have to figure out, okay, how am I going to prevent myself from drifting back into old habits, old things, you know? Things like that. And for me, I know that I need accountability. I can't just do it alone. And I think a lot of what I was doing the past year was just doing it alone. And to a certain point, that's okay. But to really stay motivated, you have to be around other people who are doing somewhat the same thing you're doing. There's a shared mission there, a shared sense of accomplishment, and you just don't feel as alone. You know, you've got to have that around you, and you've got to have like external accountability. All things that I was just like, I don't need that. And yeah, it kind of did. So yeah, that's something that, with the time away that I realized that I actually needed. We're going to take a quick Coke break here. By that, I mean Coke Zero, not Cocaina. I was doing really good all week, not drinking not drinking Coke until today. Just needed it. Needed something. I needed something to make me feel alive. So yeah, how is this year not going to be like last year? And we're figuring this out together. I don't have all the answers. I know that the first step is being gentle with yourself and not beating yourself up for what you didn't do. I failed in some areas, but I didn't follow through. And, well, I didn't fail. I'd say I didn't fail, but I didn't follow through on everything. So there are some areas there that need to be addressed. If you have thoughts and you're on YouTube, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. What are you trying to do this year? And how are you not going to repeat the same mistakes of last year? How are you going to ensure that you're going to do it? So let me give you a couple of things that have really helped me in this first week of the year, plotting all this out. ChatGPT or any of the frontier AI models, really helpful here in kind of exploring ideas. And, it's an expert in pretty much every field. So you can ask it questions like what's going to work, what's not. It's an expert in psychology to some degree. So you can ask it, what's going to work for me? What isn't? Here's what I didn't follow through on. Why do you think that is? It's like having a free coach in a way, which is just awesome. So, I'll tell you some of my broad goals for the year. Obviously, create a sustainable business that, that is working on an ongoing basis, self-employed basis. That's my big thing. And one that fits. And I think one of the reasons I had started to explore a couple of areas, and then I would pivot after a couple of months of not getting traction because I don't think I was picking things that were actually aligned with me. And I think I wanted to believe that I could, work really hard and, work all these hours and do all these things. And, otherwise and if I can't do it all, if I can't burn the candle from both ends, I'm lazy. And I just don't think that is a healthy way to do it. I think you have to be honest with yourself about if you're going to start a business, how many hours do you have in a week? How many do you realistically want to spend on it? And how many hours, how much time do you want to spend on it? And just be honest about it, because you can be creative and find ways to fit a business into smaller amounts of time. And it doesn't mean you're lazy if you don't want to devote more than, I don't know, 10 hours a week or something like that to a business. Those constraints are sometimes good. They get you thinking about ideas that you wouldn't have otherwise thought about. So I think that's really important when thinking about business ideas. And the other thing, I don't think you need to spend a ton of time on a business. For me, I'm trying to build like a lifestyle business. I'm not trying to build a world-changing startup, because ultimately what I want to do is more entertainment, be an entertainer and have a show. And that's how I want to affect more people. But let's be honest, this ain't bringing in any money right now. No, it's not. So you've got to think of another way to bring in money in the meanwhile. And so there's a lot of options. But we're in the age of AI, and AI it's still early days, but it can help you fulfill services. It can help you get clients in ways that aren't widely adopted right now, not widely utilized. So you can, this is one thing I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to see, how can AI really help me streamline a business so that, I still have to oversee it, obviously, but it's like I have a staff of people working for me for free. You shouldn't have to put in that much time if you're utilizing the tools available to you. Maybe I'm way overestimating what AI can do. I don't know. But I think that's an important question to think about right now. If you're going to start any kind of business, you got to go in on the cutting edge. And having AI is like, it's not that you have an AI business. AI is just going to be in every business from now on. It's like this alien workforce just came down and said, put us to work, $20 a month. There you go. My other goal, so a business, get something going. The other one is this show. I want to make a really big push. I want to be consistent with publishing this show and see where this show goes. It's going to evolve, but that's why, as much as I did not want to put out an episode on video the first week of the year, it would be so easy to just be like, I don't want to, I'll do this next week. I had to do it. So here I am. Still got that lingering cold from the holidays. So, and the other thing, and I'm not going to go too much into this right now, but I have been exploring the concept of a misogi, which is a Japanese term for like one big, really hard goal for the year. That if you achieve it, it's like everything else is gravy. If you can achieve that this year, then it's great. It doesn't have to be directly related to your career stuff. It could be like, I don't know, climb K2 or climb, one of the mountains or something. But for me, I just want to incorporate more live performing into my year. And so I have an idea for something I want to put on later on this year. I don't want to go into it right now, but suffice it to say, not just doing this podcast, but performing live. I think that's something I want to get into again. Even though stand-up was such a grind, going to open mics and dealing with all this, all the logistics. Got to be honest with myself. And it's so easy to, especially if you have a creative goal that you've kind of started and stopped. I'm just going to go throw myself into it and do it the same way I've always done it. That'll get you through a couple months. But after that, you'll burn out again. And I don't want to burn out again. I really want to preserve my motivation and energy. So I'm going to find ways to do comedy, to do live performing that fit a little better, that where I can avoid the going to an open mic and just being there for 3 hours until my turn and wasting a whole night and just not liking it. So, finding ways around that and being honest about what you need. So that's another point, is let's be honest about what we need this year and not just pretend that I'm going to be the perfect person and do everything perfectly. And if not, I'm a failure. Let's just be on, just be honest. So I don't know. Did we come to some clarity on how to make sure that we follow through on our goals? Yeah. Get the perspective while you're away, taking the break, getting the perspective. What are we going to do? How are we going to make sure we stay on path? Make a plan. I know I do. Okay. I know I do really well when I have like a written out plan. This is what I'm going to do every single day. And I did not give myself that last year. And I'm going to do that more this year. So this has drifted into not fun zone for some of this stuff. I hope that was interesting. I don't love talking about my failures, but look, this is an honest show. It's for honest people like you. And, I just want you to get something out of it, if nothing else. So let me know in the comments. What are you going to do this year? What's your big goal? And how are you going to make sure you do it? I know one other thing I would really like to do this year is, speaking of breaks and perspective, I'd like to go back to Asia. I would like to spend the first quarter really getting my business figured out and up and running. But then in the spring, I would like to go to Asia. And I'm not saying I'm definitely going to do it, but I would like to go back there. And I think having that kind of trip, I was so hard on myself last year. I didn't go anywhere. But I think that was a mistake, because you can go on trips. They don't have to be expensive. They don't have to be too long. Even a week away is enough. But, I'm not going to go spend 6 weeks in a hostel again. I've aged out of that, thankfully. 2 or 3 weeks is enough. And just getting away and getting that perspective is good. It's a good reset, even in the middle of the year. So that's what I'm going to try to do. If nothing else, I'll go on some kind of shorter trip that way. Those things are important. It's not just a luxury. It's kind of a necessity, especially when things aren't working. You take that break, and it just allows the things that aren't working to just kind of fall away. So this has been the first episode of the Brandon Beeyard Show in 2025. It sort of turned into a self-help show, a self-help topic a little bit. I didn't really want to do that necessarily, but we went there. Yeah. It's good stuff. Good times. All right. That has been the Brandon Beeyard Show. I will see you on the next episode. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a great 2026 and crush it and hit all your goals. And if you need someone to help you, reach out to me. I'll help you get there. Why not? Okay. We'll see you next time. Brandon Beeyard Show.